right, everybody, welcome to B.O. Boys for Sunday, September 14th. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live in studio. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Pat. So Star Member rolls on. Of course, our last episode, if you haven't listened, go back. America Ferrer, star of The Lost Bus, was on the show, and Christopher Nolan owes her money, and she made that clear.
Yes.
And we are going to make sure this is... The public needs to outcry about something, and this is what they need to outcry about.
There's nothing going on the internet right now. It needs something.
It needs something. The internet needs something to be worked up over, and this, I'm looking directly into camera because we are YouTubers. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
This is it. Internet, get worked up over the fact that Christopher Nolan owes the cast of Barbie, including our last guest, America Ferrer, money. So... write that wherever you write things on the internet. I don't know where that is, but you do your thing on there, writing stuff and saying stuff, and that's it. And then you leave it there. So Star Member rolls on, and on today's episode, we have the biggest stars possible, which is, of course, us. We are the stars here. Now, next episode, we have a giant guest star lined up. That as big as America was, as big of a guest.
She's big.
Big. Movie star, legit movie star. Next episode, we've got someone bigger lined up. And even if she knew who it was and we told her, she would admit, yes, that's bigger. That's much bigger, guys. You did it. So that's the next episode. But this episode, we are the stars, and we will be reviewing the box office weekend of Friday, September 12th. So, Clayton, can you give us a We Are the Stars Star Member Plow for September 12th?
Number one, Demon Slayer made $70 million in its first weekend at the box office. Wow. Number two, The Conjuring Last Rites made $26.1 million, down 69%. It had no theater change. It's at $131 million in its second weekend. Wow. Number three, Downton Abbey, the grand finale, made $18.1 million in its opening frame. Number four, another newbie, The Long Walk, made $11.5 million in its first frame. Number five, Toy Story made $3.5 million. It is now at $196 million in its 1,556 weekend at the box office. Number six, Weapons made $2.7 million, down 48%. It hemorrhaged theaters, losing $974, but it's at $147.4 million in its sixth weekend of release. Number seven, another Disney re-release, Hamilton, made $2.2 million, down 78%. It added 25 theaters. It's at $14.9 million in its second weekend of release. Number eight, Freakier Friday made $2.1 million, down 46%. It lost 665 theaters. It's at $91 million in its sixth weekend of release. And the whole reason I kept going.
So you didn't keep going just so that we could mention Freakier Friday and how that's at 92 million, but it should be at well over 100 million now if it would have done what it should have done, which is had Jamie Lee Curtis switch with a dog so that there's a dog soul in Jamie Lee Curtis' body. We would be saying how this is now at 130, 140 million if that had been the case.
Now, Pat, you did interrupt the plow, which is a rarity, but I will then, since you gave me this opening, you're really contradicting the article you wrote.
So everyone has to, after you listen to this episode, go to the Substack, because I did write an article, went live, and this is... the literati circles are going crazy for this article because I picked up the pen once again, and I laid it out there clear as day how it is not my thing. Switching women and dogs, switching souls so that a dog is in a woman's body, making a mess on the carpet, that is not my thing. And if you read the Substack, you will see that laid out in a very clear way. So not my thing. Not my thing. So go to the Substack.
But someone would think, since I just mentioned this movie, trying to get through the plow, which we almost never interrupt the plow.
It's usually verboten.
For you to then say that makes it seem like it is still your thing.
My thing
And
is
has
getting,
always been your thing.
my thing is getting people to the Substack, getting
Mm-hmm.
people to all of our various channels and business endeavors. So that was an opportunity I took to drive people to the Substack.
Well, I'm sure
because
it's-
it is not this women having dog souls in their bodies and them having to make on the carpet on all fours. That's not my thing. New subscribers on Substack. Yes, I'll admit that is my thing.
Well, I'm sure it's
That is my
part of it that you are trying to get your perversion out to the most people.
No,
but
not
that
my
that is part of it. There
Not my
just
thing.
continues to be more and more aspects to this. Now, number 9,
Annoying.
Anubi, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, $1.6 million in its first frame. Pat, this movie almost lost out to a Sound of Music re-release that made $1.4 million at number 10. Spinal Tap 2. I mean, here's the thing. At this point, you made 1.6.
Mm-hmm.
You should have just made 1.399, so you could have been at number 11.
Mm-hmm. That's true. If Spinal Tap had,
Or I guess you would have made
If Spinal-
1,410,000 to make it over Fantastic Four First Steps,
Yes.
and then be number 11. I
That-
did my math wrong, but why not just go to 11
yeah,
for this joke? Because you're close enough with the millions. You asked on the last episode, does it get to 1.1 million? I said, oh yeah, of course it's going to get to like 5 million.
yeah,
1.6.
1.6 million. Yet their entire campaign was it goes to 11 joke.
Mhm.
That was pretty much every bit of marketing materials. There was it goes to 11. This movie needed to open up at number 11. I think the legs on this movie would have been better going forward had the movie opened at 11 instead of 9.
Yeah, because then you do the joke of it opened to 11.
It opened to 11.
And you have the whole ad campaign, although
Yes.
they're not putting any more money into this movie for sure.
Yeah. So this is Bleecker Street.
And Bleecker with a EA.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is a bleaker outlook for this movie than
I
anything else.
expected.
This movie, its per screen average is $872. $872.
Listen,
per
I've got that
theater.
in my wallet right now.
Wow. Okay.
I got to pay a guy something, so
Oh,
I don't
yeah, yeah.
usually do. It's like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
weird thing.
We need to get out at a certain time because if you don't deliver that $872
I'm
by
effed.
5 p.m., yeah,
I'm
you're
effed.
you're about.
I've been told not to swear on this, and I think I agree.
Okay.
I've been told not to swear on the stream, and I agree. Other than the intro, which is the intro has to stay.
Yeah, of course, we definitely have to swear in the first 3 seconds
Yeah.
of the show. I'm sure that's great for the algorithm.
Yeah,
But from that point on, then no swears. Then we just say F.
yeah.
But Spinal Tap, the end continues. I mean, I've heard it's terrible. I trust the great Brett Arnold of the New Flesh, but of
Flesh.
course he also has his Roger and Me podcast, a Roger Ebert tribute podcast. And on that show, he reviewed Spinal Tap to The End Continues, and he trashed it. He fully did it stings
I mean,
on
it's
his show. He went full Jay Sherman.
you Hachimachi. Yeah, it's sad because we don't want this movie to be bad.
No, Spinal Tap. Does this box office affect the legacy of the original Spinal Tap? Is this box office so bad that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that'll be what people think of when they think of Spinal Tap, is how poorly this second movie did at the box office? And they won't think of It Goes to 11. They won't think of the zucchini in the pants.
Well,
They won't think of all the drummers getting killed. They won't think of Billy Crystal's The Mime. They won't think of
visiting
Stonehenge.
Elvis's grave.
They won't think of any of those great classic gags. Instead, when you say Spinal Tap, it's going to be this movie opening at number 9, almost getting beat by a Sound of Music re-release.
No, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because Bleecker Street will no longer exist then, and
Okay.
this movie will no longer exist. Like, you will not be able to access this movie in 10 years. You will only be able to access the original Spinal Tap. So I
Okay.
feel like that will mean this is a movie that completely disappears. So you'll have like a faint memory of it, but it's not going to be something that the general public will think about when they think of Spinal Tap.
Okay. I mean, do you think, because I mean, Anthony D is for Disney, D'Alessandro, he mentioned that the whole purpose of making this movie probably is the downstream revenue that
Yeah.
I'm sure they would have wanted to do. They didn't think it would bomb like this. They when you greenlight this movie, you don't think it's opening to 1.4 million,
Yeah.
$870 per screen. They didn't think that, but they probably figured they're going to make their money on licensing it to streamers. I mean, not DVD sales. That's the thing. It's like, again, we keep going back to why wasn't this movie made in 2000
Yeah.
when Spinal Tap 2 comes out and it would have made so much money on DVDs.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
Because you'd have to have it right next to Spinal
Yes.
Tap 1.
Yes. And
On your shelf.
I guess like on Amazon, on Apple, in a couple of weeks probably on PVOD, they're going to do the 2-pack rental or the 2-pack buying where you could buy them both, but that's not the same allure as putting both DVDs in the same shrink wrap.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's where you used to be able to make money, is you shrink wrap the two, you know, in a series or two similar movies. Like
Yeah, it's like getting it's like getting PCU and Encino Man together.
Yes. It's like getting Project X and Run Ronnie Run together,
Yeah.
or the real Cancun and Run Ronnie Run.
Yeah,
That, of course,
because
is
that's the one I purchased.
Yeah, that's the famous double shrink wrap. But
Yeah.
you can't double shrink wrap two PVOD rentals.
No.
And so I don't think the PVOD money is going to really be there
No.
for this movie that no one seems to like and no one wanted.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, it'll make, like you said, some money with rentals, digital wise and things like that. But, and it could get a Blu-ray, but people aren't buying Blu-rays at the same level. And I guess, I don't know. I mean, it is sad, but I do think it won't even be a footnote in 10 years. So it's not going to damage, I don't think it will damage the sort of immaculate perception that people have of Spinal Tap.
Okay. Yeah, I do wonder because, and I do implore, we have a lot of young listeners, a lot of, 18 to 24-year-old listeners listen to us. They're very easily influenced. So I do want to say direct to camera, because we are YouTubers. Hey guys. Is do not let the box office of Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, be what you know of Spinal Tap. Dig deeper, watch the first movie, know that the first movie was a huge long-term hit in rental and in downstream revenues. That should be what you think of when you think of the Spinal Tap IP, is how much downstream revenue the first movie made, not how poorly the second movie did.
Now, I'll ask you a question. And I know it's not the same because it's not a specific sequel to a movie. It's not the same characters. But the mockumentary films done by Christopher Guest, right? The famous ones, the Waiting for Guffman, the Best in Show, the Mighty Wind, all right? And for your consideration.
Yeah.
What about Mascots on Netflix? Has Mascots' existence dimmed the light on Waiting for Guffman or Best in Show?
But what I'm going to come back with is that Mascots never had a public opportunity to be
bomb.
A disgrace and to bomb.
Yeah.
Mascots at some point was dropped on Netflix. Nobody watched it.
But for your consideration, didn't do well.
It didn't do well, but it, we'll have to go back and look. I don't know how poorly that did in comparison to the Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman, Mighty Wind.
Yeah.
In fact, it definitely did worse and critically did worse. And you're right, that didn't turn Waiting for Guffman into something that people look down on. But again, that wasn't a sequel. It wasn't Waiting for Guffman 2, The End Continues.
True.
And that bomb. This is directly kids who follow the box office now young wannabe boys, wannabe girls, wannabe people.
People.
They watch us and they watch us talk about Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, opening to 1.4, opening at number 9, and that is what they possibly will always think of Spinal Tap, and that is a perception we don't want them to have.
True.
But I think it's dangerous. We're living dangerous times now, and I think the big danger that's happening right now is young people looking at the Spinal Tap brand as a failure, as opposed to a first movie, which again did boffa downstream revenue.
Yeah.
And that is how they should be remembered.
So enough Spinal Tap. Let's go up from the bottom
Okay.
because we got some newbies.
Okay. And we already talked about Future Friday and how it should have been Jamie Lee Curtis switching with a dog. That we covered, so we don't have to cover that
We've
again.
thoroughly covered that in several episodes.
Okay. Great. And the Substack. Read the Substack.
I can't even remember how long we've been talking about that because it's been that long.
It has been 6 weeks,
Okay.
according to the numbers. 6 weeks.
Number 4, The Long Walk, 11.5.
Are we skipping over Toy Story re-release at number 5?
Of course, who the fuck cares?
Can I just say one thing on the Toy Story
Well, you're gonna.
re-release? In the numbers, weekends in release category, it's listed as 1,556 weekends in release. And obviously what that means is that's how long it's been since the first movie came out.
Yeah,
Not how many weekends it has actually been in theaters.
release.
This is something the numbers does need to
Fix.
get on, because that is their default for re-release, is the weekends in release category column. They just say how many weekends it's been since the first movie originally came out.
Yeah.
It's a useless statistic. And unfortunately, they are the internet database for box office, because Box Office Mojo became a shit show after Brandon sold it to Amazon. And this is something the numbers has to correct, especially now that we're getting so many re-releases are an important part of the box office.
Yes.
And we can't talk about Toy Story as if it's been in theaters for 1,556 weekends.
Because then if you do that math, it's only made 196 million, which is terrible for a movie that's been in theaters that long.
Been in movie theaters for 30 years straight.
Yeah. I mean, that is a bomb.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so I'm sure the owner of the numbers probably lives in a real glass bubble above everyone, a mansion built on top of a mountain on top of another mountain
With tunnels.
and bomb shelters and all that. But the good people who work in the trenches at the numbers, they listen. They're listening to this right now, and they're probably saying the same thing. God, we want to change it, but they won't give us the money to change it. They won't give us the resources to change that and give the correct number of weekends and re-release. This is something that has to change. Someone's got to get up to that bubble on top of a mountain, on top of a bomb shelter, and tell the guy who runs the numbers, or girl, or person. This has to change. We need to have a true count of how many weekends a re-release movie has been in theaters.
Or the people who work at the numbers are a bunch of cowards, and they're sucking the ass of the rich person who owns it, who lives on the mountain, under the bubble, with all the tunnels, because they think when it all goes down, oh, they're going to take me and let me be in the tunnels.
Of course not.
They're not going to let you be in the tunnels.
The owner of the numbers is not letting the staff go into the bomb shelter.
No.
No way.
So either stand up now or you're a coward and you're spineless.
Okay.
That's what I have to say to the people who work at the numbers. The site we have to use because there's no other alternative.
There's no alternative.
Until we start our own, of course,
yeah.
website.
And I mean, that'll be the day one. Our campaign or our advertising leading up to the launch of the site will have the correct numbers of weekends of release for a re-released movie.
Yeah.
This is the only site that will give you that.
And when we get rich off our site,
and that'll be on all the billboards, on our Super Bowl ad, is when there's a re-release, we'll give you the correct number of weekends this movie has been out.
Yeah. And we'll let them in our tunnels.
Yeah, I mean, Sure. Well,
We won't let them in the tunnel.
yeah, I mean,
They're not going to.
yeah, the idea that you're getting in my tunnels is already a bit.
Well, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah. That's. I mean, that we'll have to work out for sure. But
So, talk about a long walk. It was a long walk to get to this.
Number 4.
Number 4, 11.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Was only in 2,845 theaters. This is Lionsgate, so we're not talking about this thing opening in, Conjuring levels.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tidy little sum. I mean, it's not bad. It's not great. It's better than a lot of Lionsgate movies have opened to. Like, if we're talking in comparison,
yeah,
there seems to be a lot of people who enjoy this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They did some really fun viral marketing.
Mm-hmm.
We were not included. I would have loved to have been on one of those treadmills. Private, the B.O. Boys Extended Universe private screening were on treadmills.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Imagine just get us, David Thompson, Brett, get Kirk in there. I mean, here's the thing.
He's a runner.
He'd
be like asleep walking at that level.
Yes.
At that speed, he'd be like, somebody keep me awake.
That,
like, Justin, can you make sure that I'm awake during this?
Yes. That would have been. That is a big missed opportunity because they had the right idea for sure. The long walk, getting influencers in these rooms, watching the movie on treadmills. The fact that Kirk Minahan, Podcast Jesus, was not on one of these treadmills next to Clemmer, chewing out Clemmer the whole time, just kind of shoving Clemmer till he kind of falls, bashes his head on a treadmill. That's a failing that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because that would have got the Barstool Bros into the theaters in droves.
Yeah.
If they would have got Kirk and Clemmer and the B.O. Boys on treadmills.
Yes.
Yeah. So they had the right idea. And listen, this movie should have a long tail, you would hope, because the reviews are good. So there's still time to get us, Kirk, Clemmer, on treadmills together.
Yeah. I mean, out of all these movies that came out this weekend, the one that I'm going to see, and I didn't see it opening weekend just because a busy guy.
Yeah.
Will be The Long Walk.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is reviews, but also because it did decently at the box office for a Lionsgate movie.
Yep.
So this ain't some Lionsgate garbage.
Yeah.
It looks like a legitimate movie.
If this had opened, it opened at 11.5. If this had opened at 9,
yeah,
it didn't do double digits, you may not have been inclined to go see this in weekend 2, weekend 3.
No, absolutely not.
But yeah, I mean, I think I predicted 16, 17. I did think this would go higher because the buzz was good. The influencer on treadmills idea was great. It's obviously a very dark premise.
That's what I've heard. It is not fun.
Yeah.
And the world in this moment isn't fun.
Yeah.
And so
as opposed to other moments where the world has been very fun. But yeah,
well, we once had Spuds MacKenzie.
Right. Well, definitely that moment. That was a particularly fun moment. The Spuds MacKenzie moment.
Who is a woman and deal with it.
Yeah. If they had gotten her, Spuds MacKenzie, on a treadmill. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is a big thing is this movie, because the reviews are good, they've got it. Lionsgate can't give up on this. Lionsgate has got to keep attacking, keep promoting, and keep getting influencers on treadmills and widen the scope of what that means. So the scope should include Kirk Minahan, Chris Clemmer, Barstool. It should mean Spuds MacKenzie,
Get her on a treadmill.
Get
doggy
her.
treadmill.
Yeah. We cannot. I just hope that Lionsgate didn't lease these treadmills and had to give them back right before opening weekend. I do hope. I don't know if they bought them because that might have been a bit much because then they're kind of stuck with all these treadmills, a couple of months from now. But I do hope the lease that they took out on these promotional treadmills at least went through October.
Yeah. Yeah, you would hope that they would get an extended lease.
Yeah. But you don't know. It's Lionsgate.
It's true.
It's Lionsgate. And I could see Lionsgate marketing looking at it and saying, let's just take the least amount of days we're allowed to lease these treadmills. Let's just lease it until opening day, and then we send them back.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's a perfect time to have a treadmill in the lobby of a movie theater because the Smashing Machine is out there putting boxing machines in theater lobbies. You could just do your rep. You could have like gym workout at a theater lobby now.
Yes. Well, that's the thing is, I love that.
Get the heavy bag or whatever, or like I guess you're just punching once, but you could do it several times.
Yeah, and can the long walk, if they don't want to have to lease all these treadmills themselves, can they make a deal with a Planet Fitness or a Crunch or a Jack LaLanne's to get those treadmills, which
a Body
already,
by Jake's.
Body by Jake, make a deal there. And Lucille Roberts for sure.
For sure.
I think that's a big one for the long walk at Lionsgate. Make a deal with Lucille Roberts where
That's my go-to.
you got to go there. Yeah, even just for a couple of minutes, you got to go to Lucille Roberts. And if you go to Lucille Roberts and you see long walk sponsored treadmills, that is ideal because what you're trying to do is not just get the people who are already in a movie theater, is get the people who are at a Lucille Roberts to then go to a movie theater.
Yeah, you got to cool down somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Don't even shower.
No.
That should be on these long walk treadmill experiences. Don't even shower. Get off the treadmill. Go straight to the long walk.
Talk about smell you at the box office.
Yeah. Listen, that money might be crumpled and wet, but it's still green.
Still
and that's
good.
all that matters. I am hopeful for this movie. You know, if this were the 90s box office, you always have more faith that audiences could find a movie weeks into a run. We're not having as many cases of that these last 5 years or so. But this could be that case. Stephen King is a brand name. So as much as they could keep getting that out there, the reviews are good. But I think they've got to don't stop getting influencers on treadmills and open up what you see as an influencer.
Absolutely.
Get Kirk on a treadmill. That is key. I know he likes to run outdoors and be free and, as he's running, just give the double bird to people on the street that annoy him. But I think for the movies, because he loves the movies, he would get on an indoor treadmill.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not his agent, not speaking for him, but I do think that he would do it for the movies. He would get on a treadmill. And I think he did actually tweet out, I got to ask him about it, that he did see this and loved the movie. I do have to check on that, but yeah, reach out. Let's get them on treadmills.
Let's talk number 3, Downton Abbey, the grand finale. Okay, so this was the movie that you were high on.
I was pretty high on that.
And listen, for all intents and purposes, it made sense, right? More people were going to the movies because we looked at that big opening weekend for Conjuring.
Mm-hmm.
You thought that's a lot of the same. I mean, there was a lot of young people, but like Conjuring did get the 45 to 55s.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that would be the Downton Abbey.
Mm-hmm.
There would be a lot of walk-up business.
Yep.
There wouldn't be as many people getting their tickets ahead of time necessarily.
Right.
So you could see this thing getting to
30,
right?
Yeah.
That didn't happen. This franchise is what it is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The first movie people were excited for. Now it's just a hardcore fan base that is a fan base made up of $18 million worth of people.
Which is
significant, but I think that first movie really skewed our understanding of what this could do. The novelty of it being in the theater wore off for anybody who wasn't tuned in and seen everything.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of people who didn't watch Downton Abbey, the show, and went to see that first movie.
Yeah.
And possibly they could have been like, well, I'm completely lost, and then never went back, and then didn't go to the second one, and are not going to this third one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the case, is that they could probably make another one of these if they were like Downton Abbey, The Next Generation.
Mm-hmm.
They could do that, but it ain't opening to 20 million, 25 million, or 30 million.
It would need a big star edition, and we love Paul Giamatti. He's not exactly that.
No.
The sort of game-changing movie star that you're adding. Obviously, if it was Jennifer Lawrence is now
Yeah.
entering the Downton Abbey universe, yes, then you could see a big jump in that version of it. But that's not what they did here. I think that I also went into this thinking Downton Abbey, the grand finale, there was going to be more of an end game aspect to this, that old characters were going to come back through portals, that you were going to see a big villain killed finally. And I haven't seen this film. We do have a friend of the show, past and future guest host, who saw this film, enjoyed it, but from her report, it doesn't seem like that was what this movie was about. This movie wasn't the Downton Abbey equivalent of Spider-Man showing up through a portal. That didn't happen here.
Now, and I hope she doesn't mind. I'm gonna quote this text that we got on the thread.
Okay.
And I think this is really indicative, maybe, of like why the box office was where it was.
Okay.
They wrote, every time a Downton Abbey movie comes out, I think, ugh, does anybody still care? And then I see it, and the whole time I think, fuck yes, I love this. Now, I think what this is showing is that our friend made the extra step, even though they had that thought of, well, who cares? Then once they were there, they loved it.
Yeah.
I think there is a contingent of people who were like, oh, do I actually really still care about this with everything else going on and all my other options? And then they don't take that extra step to go to the theater, right? I think that could be a reason why this movie and the second movie didn't do as well as the first one did.
Right. And now, that's all to say this movie didn't hit the high end of our expectations. But
expectations.
But it did do better, significantly better than the second movie.
But also, that was in a very COVID-y time.
It was, but, you could see a world where a movie series based off a TV show, each one of them continues to decline.
Yeah.
So even though this is a better context to go to the movies than the second one, if the audience interest had just totally continued to decline, this could have opened at $8 million. It could have just kept going down, and that's not what happened. So I do think the subtitle in the end helped.
Yeah.
The promise of this is the last one helped, as opposed to Downton Abbey, tonight's dinner party.
Yeah.
The subtitle. I don't think that would have done as well.
Yeah, just another night in the Abbey.
Yeah.
Or at the Abbey or whatever. I don't know what
they do,
Yeah.
who they are,
Yeah.
or why they're together.
Yeah. But I agree. I mean, when you're looking at this 2 and 3, you got Downton Abbey, the grand finale, and you got The Conjuring, Last Rites. And I do think that was a level of like, we got swept up, you more so than me, but got swept up in the hype of like, oh, that's going to really add.
Yeah.
And I think Conjuring is just a whole different beast.
Yeah, it's a hotter IP for sure.
And it's horror, which is the hottest thing going right now.
Yeah. And as many Conjuring movies as there are, the problem with Downton Abbey 2 is it's not just a movie series, it's also a very extensive TV series. So it does seem daunting to jump in this far in, because there is the thought of, do I have to watch all the TV episodes and the movies in order to enjoy this?
So here's my pitch for the 4th Downton Abbey movie.
Okay.
Is not dead yet.
Okay.
And you combined it with sort of a horror element where you don't have the Warrens, but you have like the British version of the Warrens, because one of the most beloved Downton Abbey dead characters starts haunting the Abbey.
Okay.
And so you get this person back, who I would not have any clue who that is.
Let's just assume it's Judi Dench.
Well, she's not in any of these, I don't think.
But we also don't know that for sure, because we haven't seen
So Judi Dench is haunting the Abbey.
She's back.
She's
famous
back.
Downton Abbey character is back.
Because like one of that characters...
She must play Queen Elizabeth in at least an episode of Downton Abbey.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of the characters walks into their vast kitchen, and who's standing there? Judi Dench, who's supposed to be dead.
Yes. Her
And they're
famous
like,
character.
What's going on? And so then they're like, we need to get these ghost whisperer people
Mm-hmm.
and you bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got that horror and you've got the Downton Abbey fan base. That could be big.
Yes.
And plus, it's a reason why they could have another one.
Yes. I do think that's a great way for them to go, is to do mixed genre, upstairs, downstairs British drama and horror
Yeah.
together.
And it'll be classy horror.
Yeah, classy. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not going to be, Judi Dench isn't going to be chainsawing somebody like Art the Clown.
Yes, though there's also that version which I think could do pretty well, but that's probably not that's too much of a hard shift for the Downton Abbey franchise.
Yeah.
They should go more towards the others, the Conjuring, that type of thing.
Yeah,
Classy horror, not
What Lies Beneath, was that a horror movie? Wasn't?
yeah.
That was, yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
There was supernatural stuff in that. It's been so long.
So yeah,
I was more horrified by Harrison Ford shirtless in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a grim reminder of what the future holds.
Yes, and that was 25 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Scary.
Downton Abbey, the grand finale, is probably, though, going to crater going forward. This feels like this may have been a FTF for the fan situation.
Yeah.
And that 18 million, we'll see, but really could be the majority of the fans. There is a chance that this movie does a 70% drop next weekend.
It's possible. Possible. I mean, number 2, The Conjuring Last Rites made a 69% drop. But here's the thing about that.
Oh.
I mean, it opened so much bigger than we expected. The fact that this dropped to $26 million. If this thing had opened to what we expected it to open to, which was 35 to 40, and it made this the next weekend, I mean, that's amazing. But people were so psyched for that movie, and they had other options this weekend.
Yes.
Especially the youngins that made Conjuring as big as, bigger than we expected. They all lined up for Demon Slayer.
Let's talk about it.
Now, I went high. You thought that was nuts. I didn't ask if I could get nuts. I sort of, at the end of the episode, took it upon myself to, without consent, get nuts and say 60.
Mm-hmm.
You thought that Conjuring would be number 1 and that this was not going to do what The Fringe thought it was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it did higher than I said.
Mm-hmm.
It is at 70.
70. That's incredible.
So this is an inflection point right now
Mm-hmm.
for anime at the theater.
Mm-hmm.
It's all, for a while there, when Demon Slayer, the first Demon Slayer movie came out up against Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
They were going neck and neck. People were surprised. But then Crunchyroll has put out a lot of movies in the theater that have done really well for theatrical because they're extra money for these theaters.
Right.
This is a phenomenon. This is the beginning of a phenomenon.
Yeah.
I don't think every anime movie is going to be Demon Slayer, but there are going to be a lot more Demon Slayers coming down the pike, and we're going to have to reckon with it.
Yeah, this is feels like what the Super Mario Brothers movie felt like for video game adaptations a few years
I disagree.
ago.
I think it's Minecraft. Because
Wow,
Super
okay.
Mario Brothers was for every generation.
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft is very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft is the video game movie inflection point because all the old ones that, like, Mario is part of regular society in a way that Minecraft really isn't.
Yeah, Mario could be elected to office in the United States.
Yeah, yeah.
Had he not been an immigrant.
Yeah, I mean, Mario is like Spider-Man. Mario is like a character that everybody's grown up with.
Yeah.
Minecraft is for...
He's like Uncle Sam. You could have Mario pointing, I want you.
Yeah. But Minecraft is something that only came about, not a couple years ago, but like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And that is brand new virgin for movie studios.
Right.
They don't usually do that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess I meant Mario in the sense of like that felt like a point, and there had been Sonic and there'd been hit video game adaptations, but it really felt like we've got to really start reckoning with video game adaptations as a genre are here to stay and have a ceiling that is higher than anything we thought they had
Yeah.
previously. And that definitely is the case with this Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie, where hitting 70 million, this is something that needs to be talked about at the highest levels at this point.
In the corridors of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's the 6th biggest opening of September ever.
ever.
I mean, best anime movie ever. That's like, that got blown away if it made like 35 or something.
Right, right.
This making 70 million is, it's in conversation with it. It's in conversation with Conjuring. So we're looking at
Beetlejuice. I mean, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle is in conversation with Beetlejuice.
So here's the top 6. It, 123, Beetlejuice 111, It Chapter 2 91,
Wow.
Conjuring Last Rites 84,
Wow.
Shang-Chi 7.5.
Yeah.
And then
has never been back in a Marvel movie. Obviously,
he's
I
coming to
guess
Doomsday.
being Doomsday, but somehow hasn't had a sequel in these 5 years since.
And now Demon Slayer at 6 as of now, because it just kept going up.
Wow.
We were talking, I mean, we were at the water cooler and you said, okay, 60. I was like, no, it's at 70 now.
Yeah. As of yesterday, it was 60. I
Yeah.
checked yesterday, 60 million. I was like, wow, that's huge. And day later, it's 10 million more. I mean, we're
So
recording
this
this
could
on a
beat
Sunday.
Shang-Chi.
Wow.
It would be crazy if it beat Conjuring, but it could. Shang-Chi could go down.
Wow.
Out of the top 5.
So what do you think happened? And obviously, that Demon Slayer movie that came out spring 2021, that was spring 2021. Movie theaters were barely open, all that. So, but that movie opened to what, 22, 23 million around
Something
there?
like that, yeah.
And now to open at 70. So obviously it's a better moving going context than it would have been March or April 2021.
Yeah.
But this is so much bigger. Has this audience grown that much in the last 5 years?
Well,
Wow.
so here's the thing that makes this is why this was so hard to prognosticate and why I should be patting myself on the back here.
Yeah.
It's because there's a lot of reasons why people said, oh, well, it's not going to hit the crazy expectations because animes are always front loaded. There's no walk-ups and word of mouth doesn't matter because it is a fervent fan base that already knows they love it and then nobody else jumps on the train. Well, here's the thing with this movie. People heard that it was good and went. So there were people who, a lot of pre-sales. There was a lot of people who were like, I know what I'm doing on this date in September. Demon Slayer, gotta be there. But there are people who are not anime fans who went to see this movie because they heard it was good.
Yeah.
And that makes it into a regular movie.
And they heard it was big. And
Yes.
they heard it was the
And they
thing
heard
to
it
go
was the
to.
thing to see. So that is super important.
Yeah.
Because usually these things were just niche and this niche audience would see it and then it would totally disappear the next weekend. This is one of those things where now it is normal to see an anime movie. It has been normalized.
It's been normalized, yeah.
And that is something, again, that we need to reckon with.
Yeah. Yeah. And when people use the phrase, we need to reckon with something, it usually connotates, oh, we have to reckon with something pretty bad. We have to reckon with something horrific.
Stagflation.
Yeah. We have to reckon with stagflation, for instance. This is a great reckoning.
Yes.
This is a, we need to reckon with this. And I am very excited about the reckoning we're going to be doing because we need to reckon with a new genre that is bringing people to the movie theaters.
Young people.
Young people. And it's, as the superhero thing fades away.
That's the thing.
Doomsday will bomb a year from now. We've said it here.
Yes.
And we'll be saying it for the next year. That movie is going to come well under the current expectations. Superhero movies fading further away. And it's the danger would have been a vacuum where nothing took its place.
Yes.
And instead, video game movies are filling a spot. And now anime films are coming in.
Yes. Well,
And
it's also filling.
It's the same people who 10 years ago would have went to superhero movies and then people who
People.
drawn in to go see superhero movies because that was in the mainstream. That's what's happening with anime.
But
And we need to reckon with it, and I'm happy to do so.
I also know that, Pixar, as I said very early on and got screamed at on my own show about,
On your own show.
lost the plot, creatively bankrupt, now financially bankrupt, basically. The movies don't make money anymore unless it is a Inside Out 2, of course, Incredibles 3, those, right? But that's the same thing about making another Deadpool movie, another Spider-Man movie, another Batman movie. You are now at that point where you are not making a Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
You're just making another Spider-Man movie.
Right.
And that's where Pixar is.
There was a point where cowboy movies were on the wane. They were being phased out. But if you put out a Shane 2, The Searchers IP movie, those were still doing well, even though the day-to-day cowboy movie was going away. The strong IP was still doing well. But that's where we are with superhero movies.
And there was plenty of adults going to see these Pixar movies, too. And now there's a new animation thing in town for these people who look at animation as not just for babies, which I do, but it doesn't matter what I want to see and what I think. I should not want to see this movie. I don't want to see this movie.
Okay.
It's about young people wanting to see this movie. That's important.
Do you, though?
No, I do not want to see it, even though it's the biggest thing. No, there's no interest.
There's
zero.
No interest.
Zero.
Even though it just opens at 70
Zero.
million,
It doesn't matter because it's not for me.
Boy. You are a BO
Pat.
boy. Because I will say, I have interest now in seeing this Demon Hunters.
I feel like here's this.
No, they're not the Demon Hunters. They are
Demon Slayers.
Demon Slayers.
Here's the thing.
When is that team? I mean, is that team up? I know probably it's not possible based on this.
Well, it's Sony, right?
This is Sony. That was Sony Netflix. I mean,
and they're going to be pushing to put the people behind
K-pop
Demon Hunters are going to be pushing to put it in theaters.
Yeah.
Number 2.
My God, that movie, if a K-pop Demon Hunters 2 came out full theatrical in 2 years, that is a billion-dollar baby.
And I want to say something really quick because I know we're talking about Demon Slayer, but I want to talk about Demon Hunter because there's a lot of talk about it, how Sony effed up not putting it into theaters at the beginning. And I want to say, in a perfect world, that would be the case. In a perfect world, a movie like K-pop Demon Hunters could have come out and had a small opening, and then people got into it, and then it's a whole sing-along. There isn't the ecosystem of movie going the way it used to be that thing could have become a hit without it somehow being platformed differently, right?
Maybe. I would say the one thing about that is the songs. There is a world in which, because those songs are gigantic.
But then you would have to
songs,
have released the songs
ahead of time. Yeah.
So that it would have had to then be, here's the soundtrack. We're pushing it to Spotify and Apple first.
Yes.
But they wouldn't have done that. They would have dropped this because this. I mean, if Demon Hunters would have been put in theaters cold.
Well, with a big marketing push with the songs.
No.
You've got to create new IP.
But they're not doing it. That's what I'm saying. It's like we don't live in an ecosystem where that's happening. So therefore, the fact that this had to happen the way it did is sad. But I don't want to give credence to the idea that you're just going to put that movie cold into a theater and it's going to become a phenomenon. It's just not.
It's tough to say because that movie did have the music going for it that you could definitely have made.
But we know that now.
We know that now, but they had those songs then. The songs could have been pushed earlier.
Could have been, but they wouldn't have done it.
We're talking about a theoretical situation in which that movie goes to
But
theaters
you're giving too much credit to these places that they would put that much money into a movie like that. When kids IP original IP, can I talk?
If they were putting movies in the movie theater, they would have done it with a marketing campaign that you give to a movie that you're putting in 4,000 movie theaters. I mean,
but it wouldn't have been put in 4,000 movie theaters.
But the problem with Ilio wasn't that they didn't advertise it enough. It's that
nobody wanted
didn't want it. So if you were fully behind K-pop Demon Hunters as a theatrical release, the way Disney was with Ilio, if Sony was with that for K-pop Demon Hunters and gave it a marketing push that you would give to a movie at that size. They had a product that people clearly wanted. The movie was good. People like that genre. They like that music. So to say that they just wouldn't have done it, that's fully defeatist, because Sony put money into getting people to know that Karate Kid Legends was coming out, and people just didn't want it.
But
So-
Pat, original kids IP animated movies have not done well at the box office. So they would not have invested as much money as Karate Kid, where they thought, let's get the oldsters and the youngsters together. There's no world where people knew what they had with that movie with Demon Hunters, because executives don't know what young people want. But now they're figuring it out.
If they're putting it in the movie theater, I do think they would have, and also their studios do, when they internally know they have something really good, will put a little bit more into it, especially if they're putting an expensive movie into a theater. But they would have known that they had something, at least at the testing level, ahead of time. I totally disagree that in this world they put the movie in movie theaters and do no promotion for it at all, because
Pat,
you
it's
don't
not
do that.
no
You
promotion.
You don't do that with a expensive kids movie. This was an expensive movie. They would have given it promotion. Again, Pixar promoted Elio, an original non-IP movie. They promoted it and people just didn't want
Pat,
it.
Pixar only has Pixar movies on their mind. They have a whole infrastructure as to, let's make Pixar movies big because we are Pixar. Sony does a bunch of other stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing.
But again, you're creating this hypothetical situation in which the rules also have to be, they would have gone through the trouble of putting it as a wide release, but also they wouldn't have promoted it at all.
So the assumption is, Pat, they knew that this would be a phenomenon.
No, not that they knew it would have been a phenomenon. No, in my world, they would have had a movie that people clearly liked, and I do think they would have put some effort into marketing. They would have marketed at the level that you do when you put out a kids movie, and because it was clearly a movie people wanted, would it have opened at 90 million? No, but it would have been a movie that I think would have caught on, because it caught on Netflix.
If it opened at 6 million like anyone but you.
It wouldn't have opened at 6 million. It is a kids movie that, again, you're totally discounting that these songs are hits. And I do think that would have been such a big advantage for opening a new IP, is that they could have had the songs go out there and get publicity and get people hooked.
I think our argument,
beforehand.
I think we are agreeing in a way in that
it wouldn't have opened to 100 million and been a giant hit immediately.
Can I just get a thought out?
You've gotten plenty of thoughts out. Well, you've gotten plenty of words out. I wouldn't say you've gotten thoughts out.
Okay.
So
can I get a thought out now?
Well, you could put out words and we'll see if it's a thought.
Can you agree that in a few years, if things go the way we're hoping they go, where the studios realize that it's dumb to put stuff directly onto streamers because it never gets any traction and it just disappears, and you can make so much more money with having a movie in the theaters first because it legitimizes the product. If that movie would have came out in the hypothetical, hopeful future that we have, that thing could have become a phenomenon almost immediately, because young people go to the theater because they're psyched for the new Demon Slayer. They want to see another Conjuring movie. There's Minecraft 2. There's whatever thing that they want to see that they're really hyped about. There's a movie from Zach Kreger, right? That movie could become a phenomenon almost immediately because people are going to see movies and they're now again programmed to go to a theater to watch a movie because that's where movies live. And then anything they didn't see in the theater or really, really crappy movies that have low budgets are the things that go on streamers, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm saying is, like, post-COVID and with everybody not knowing like what kids actually want to see and putting out like Snow White movies and stuff that like nobody wants to see, they didn't know what they had. And so if they released it in theaters, it would not have become as big of a phenomenon because they just did not know what they have. Now they would know more what young people want because this emerging group are showing them what they want and they're going to what they want to see. And now there's more information because for the longest time, these executives just didn't know what the younger people wanted to see because they were giving them all sort of warmed over old ass IP that no one wanted.
Yeah, I think that all of that is what we have been saying, that you should put your movies in movie theaters and not directly streaming, unless you do just have crap that just put it straight to streaming. I don't know if they couldn't have known that pre K-pop Demon Hunters being on Netflix. I feel like we've had enough movies these last few years that show there is a young person audience that wants these new specific things.
But what's the kids cartoon that did so well in the last year that's original? In the last couple years, there hasn't been any cartoons. It's been very difficult to launch something in the theaters that is original animation, that is not an IP movie like the Spider-Verse cartoon.
Right. But I mean, this would have been a case of you're giving young people what they want. And I think in other genres, we've been seeing that the last few years. Like, obviously, Five Nights at Freddy's is IP and it's not a kid's movie, but is a case where if you give young people the things that they're interested in, and K-pop as
a thing, yes, but not these characters.
Not these characters, but K-pop as a thing is already young person interest. So again, I think you're discounting that part of it. Even if this movie had been dropped cold in June or July, K-pop on its own is something that gets young people interested.
Would it? But the thing is, would it have been able to stay in theaters long enough for it to become a phenomenon?
Yeah, because it wouldn't have opened at 100 million. But again, I think if they had promoted it in a big way, the way you have to if you put out any kids movie. I mean, The Bad Guys got a ton of promotion. Dogman got a ton of promotion. You don't put a kids movie in the theater cold hoping for word of mouth. You have to promote them. So
but then there was Ruby Gill or whatever, that one that came and bombed, and that was an IP that supposedly kids knew, and that totally tanked.
But I think that was a situation where the theater was washing their hands of it beforehand. If they were serious, like Ruby Gillman, they never tried to make it a hit. They just knew what they had, and it was a dump. But if you're not doing a dump, you're going to put money behind a kids movie being in theaters. And I think just K-pop itself is a word that entices people of this generation.
I just think it's easy to look now and say that they knew what they had because they didn't know what they had.
It would have opened to 80 million.
Here's what would have been the best case scenario is it opens small, right? Because it's an unknown IP, and then it does well, but it loses a bunch of screens because they got to put out new product, and then it starts catching on, and then they do the actual re-release that they tried to do with Morbius when it was just a goof.
Right.
And now then in the re-release, we're talking this thing does the sing-alongs and the Bafa Bobo.
So, yeah, that's a lot on the number one movie in America, which is, of course, K-pop Demon Hunter.
What was the week for it?
So, Demon Slayer, anything else to say about this? Do we think that... I don't know if the bottom's going to drop out of this.
Well, that's the big question.
Obviously, there's a huge fan base that went to see this opening weekend. It's more in the mainstream than it was 5 years ago, but it's probably not as mainstream as 70 million looks like right now. So I don't think we're going to see the bottom drop out where next weekend this falls all the way down to like 20 million.
Yeah. Like, does it drop like 90% or something? I mean, yeah,
Right.
Like that's the thing is, I think this has done unprecedented stuff in its opening weekend by getting people to go see a movie like this from word of mouth.
Right.
So who knows what it does next weekend? Now it could do the 69 drop like Conjuring did.
Right.
But who knows? Could this thing, have actual legs? Like, it's very curious, and we're in sort of unknown territory at this point. So to say that it'll eat dirt is what these things normally do after the big openings, but they're never at this big of a level. But I think it is in increments, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just because this one, maybe if it does drop, that doesn't matter, is because people are going to now go to these movies more. Normal people who, like you said, used to be the superhero fans 10
Mm-hmm.
years ago, if they were at that age, this is the new thing.
This is the new
This
thing.
is what everybody at the schoolyard is talking about, and they certainly are not talking about Spinal Tap 2.
No, I hope they get. I'm so excited to see the next Demon Hunters movie come out because like that will have
You mean
so
Demon
much.
Slayer or Demon Hunter?
Demon Slayer.
The one, yeah.
Demon Slayer.
I can see why you'd be confused.
Yes, because you talked about Demon Hunters quite a bit. So
I mean, we did, because it takes more than one person to have a conversation.
yeah, sometimes it does.
Yeah.
But
No, it always does.
so yeah, I think I hope they get one out in the next year or so, and I think that Demon Slayer is a franchise that could now be a summer release. The next time they have one of these, Sony, it's
Big
not
summer
Karate
movie.
Kid. It's Demon Slayer is a June 15th release.
Mm-hmm.
And the next Demon Slayer movie, unless Pixar has a franchise, it's Incredibles 3, it's Toy Story 5. If a Demon Slayer movie is coming out next to a Pixar movie, it's
stay
not
clear.
even close. It's not
You
even
got to
close.
stay clear. You got to
Yeah,
run. You got to
gotta
run from
run.
these Demon Slayers.
So we got an email from Wanna Be Oh Boy Aaron, whose subject is "Move over, Demon Hunters, the Slayers are here." And he says, "Hey guys, coming out of a screening of The Baltimoreans in the Chicago area, I walked out to a flurry of activity in the concessions area that was a welcome sight. Moviegoers were in long lines buying popcorn. If it wasn't for this podcast, I thought there was some Marvel movie that was released under the radar, but I knew it was Demon Slayer's weekend. People of all ages, ethnicities, and hair color were buying buckets of popcorn. Earlier in the week, The Long Walk would have easily been one of my first A-list reservations, even though I haven't seen a minute of previous Demon Slayer content, and I wasn't ready to watch The Long Walk, and instead chose to immerse myself in the world of Demon Slayer. I do know this, though, that my box office dollars will count, and theaters will be getting my dollars for popcorns and drinks, something that can't be said with K-pop Demon Hunters."
Well,
it did
unless
have that
you-
weekend. It did have that weekend.
Unless you wanted to go for a very specific small window.
Yeah. So basically, Aaron's saying this movie sold a lot of popcorn this weekend. And it's the type of thing that makes people want to go to the movie theater again, is when you walk in and you see that kind of activity.
If it's a happening,
Yeah.
it looks like there's a happening. What's going on here? Why is everybody here?
You don't want to go into a place and it's half empty and you're looking at the concessions and you kind of feel wrong for even walking towards it because you're having that thought of like, is this even open?
Or like they're going to be mad because there's no one else asking them to do anything, and I'm going to be the person to ask them to scoop popcorn.
Right. If you have the kind of experience where you're walking toward the concessions and you're looking and then the concession person has to come out from behind because they're the only one there.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll buy your popcorn that day, but you probably are not going to want to go back to a movie theater anytime soon.
Well, they were somewhere plunging a toilet.
Yes.
And then they're like, "Let me take my gloves off to get you popcorn."
That's what's great about a weekend like this or a weekend like The Conjuring, where there's so many people going to the theater, so many staff people are called in. You have one person who's doing the popcorn and someone else who's doing the toilets, and it's not the same person.
Yes.
Because we have so many people going to the theater.
There's more people unclogging toilets. Specifically, that's the only thing they're doing all night.
Yeah.
Because where's that food going to go? Where does the concessions go?
Exactly. So a big weekend like this is a boon to the people who work at theaters who have to unclog toilets.
Yeah.
Is they're all getting called in. We have Wannabe Oh Boy Tyler wrote, subject Stephen King, "Boys, do you think The Long Walk will have any impact on The Running Man's box office? Thanks, Wannabe Oh Boy Tyler." So,
well, you got to walk before you run. And I think that's the promotion you should do.
Are they the same studio?
I don't think so.
No, because Running Man's not Lionsgate.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
I would truly hope not.
So we got an email from the great David Thompson, our chief superhero correspondent, sent in an email, and the subject is Mario Movie 2. Hey guys, the first tease for the Super Mario Galaxy movie has been released. Do you think it makes more or less than the first? Over under 1.36 billion. My excitement is through the roof. The Galaxy games are my childhood. David Thompson. So have you seen this? And I think this comes out in 2026. Is that true? That there will be a Super Mario Galaxy movie that comes out in 2026?
I don't. That's a great question.
Let me see right here. Super Mario Galaxy. Clayton, the release date for this movie is April 3rd, 2026.
Okay.
So we are talking.
So this is the kickoff to the, I mean, well, not the kickoff to the summer, but it's one of the summer kickoff movies.
I mean, it might as well, it'll be as big as anything that comes out in the summer. I mean, my immediate thought is bigger than the first one.
That's a great, I mean, if I trust David Thompson that the Galaxy Plus is important, and that will put it over. Because my assumption then is that they're gonna be adding more characters maybe, and if he's the age group, he's the fan base for this, and if he thinks it's a +1 or more than that, a power up, if you will, then yeah, it should make more.
And they did such a good job of, if this movie's come out in April, the first one was 2024 or 2023. I mean, if at worst it was 2023, so they are getting this movie out very quickly. They're capitalizing on how much everyone loved the first one, and I think Minecraft helped Mario. I think Minecraft only makes it so that video games are more part of the mainstream movie culture.
Yeah.
It's more normalized.
2023, so it's going to be
3 years, which is a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Where they didn't rush it to where we think this will be bad, but they didn't wait 6 or 7 years where the moment is passed.
Yeah.
So I think bigger. I think this could be the high point of the Mario movies, where this could be bigger than the first one before people, not that they're going to get sick of it anytime soon, but I think the second one could be bigger than the first one and could be the biggest Mario movie we end up getting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because who knows how many Mario movies we're going to get,
Right,
and
right.
the ebb and flow of that sort of stuff. But yeah, all signs point to that being huge.
Yeah. Here, okay. I mean, I think we're both gonna be on the same side of this. 2026. What makes more money, Doomsday or Super Mario Galaxy?
Galaxy.
Yeah. I think it won't even be close.
No.
I'm feeling Doomsday not being $1 billion baby, and I think Mario Galaxy could do 1.5 billion.
And I know they're adding Deadpool to Doomsday, but unless he's the star.
Yeah.
If he's the star, if he kills everybody else and it's just him versus Doom, then maybe you've got a movie that could beat Mario Galaxy. But that ain't happening. He already shot his scene in a warehouse. He doesn't know who else is in the movie, and then they're just gonna loop whatever jokes in a year.
Yeah. So one last thing we should go over here is we got a email from wannabe oh boy Chris, who basically forwarded us an article about the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere situation.
Very interesting, this situation.
And, the short of it is Dolan, what's his full name? James Dolan owns the Sphere, bought or leased rights to the Wizard of Oz so he could screw around with it with AI and make a shortened version. Edit it down to make it specific to the Sphere format.
Yes.
And it's playing at the Sphere during the day when the Grateful Dead cover band isn't there. And as of now it just opened there like a month or two ago, but it's doing pretty good business daily there right now.
I feel like you're really underselling this because it is making a ton of money because the tickets you saw something at this place.
I saw the Aronofsky film there a couple of years ago, Not Caught Stealing, the one he made for the Sphere.
Yeah.
Yet I paid like $200.
Yeah.
So it's very expensive tickets. I'm looking in here for what the number it is making per day. And no, it's making a lot of money. I think the thing is, though, we're about a month into this. You know, what is Wizard of Oz at the Sphere going to be making a year from now? You know, is this going to be something that is going to be a permanent fixture of the Sphere, or is this sort of a novelty that people are going to now?
But just like the band's rotating, you rotate these movies through, and maybe you do like 6 weeks here with Wizard of Oz, then you do another movie. It's like it's a new avenue to get people excited about movies and movie going and making that an experience. Right. Like we talk about IMAX, we talk about 4DX. This is like the ultimate movie experience that you can have at the moment. Now, we won't get into like editing it and AI and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, that is part of it, though.
It is part of it, but like say, Goodfellas.
Right.
And they don't edit it, and Zaslav isn't in it as, as the main character. He's not playing
Paulie.
He's not playing Paulie or whatever.
Yeah, where David Zaslav as Paulie tells Henry Hill, now I have to cut you loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're seeing that at the Sphere. I mean, there's people who would go to Vegas for that.
There are, but you can't just plop the movie into the Sphere.
You have to change it.
The Wizard of Oz, they had to spend a lot of money to make it Sphere viewable.
Yes.
To have it so that there's all these 3D elements and, whatever you do to make something presentable to Sphere. So you can't just take a Goodfellas DVD and say, now come see Goodfellas next weekend at the Sphere.
Yes.
And you just put it in the DVD player, and then suddenly, Tommy is smashing a wine bottle over the restaurant owner's head, and it's in the Sphere.
Yeah.
So you'd have to spend like $100 million to make these movies viewable.
Yeah.
So I think that's the issue with this format is it's almost the cost right now of making a new movie. And so, yeah, I think the Sphere as a place to show movies makes total sense. But this was a situation where they took The Wizard of Oz, a classic movie that I guess the rights were gettable, and sunk a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how many movies you're going to do that for or be allowed to do that for.
Yeah.
That would draw an audience.
And I mean, there's a thing where it's like that's not the movie that people know. So it's the Sphere Wizard of Oz experience.
Yes.
The same way as seeing, U2 in the Sphere is different than seeing U2 in a different venue, right? I mean, so there is like adaptable, but yes, if you're getting into did they destroy a classic by changing it, I don't have enough information because I don't know what they actually did.
Yeah.
And people saying that they used AI, like, again, I'm against generative AI, of course, but like I don't know what they did, so I can't make the determination as to how big of a travesty it is.
Right.
I'm talking more about if an actual like person who cared about film was able to adapt a movie into that. Like if Scorsese was like, I want to change my movie so people can see it at the Sphere. I want Goodfellas to be a Sphere movie. I'd be for that.
If that was Martin Scorsese's final project, where he knows his time is limited, he's like, I could either do my Jesus movie, or I could adapt Goodfellas into being viewable at the Sphere. And he chose that. Whatever he wants to do,
That's
I'm
the
all
thing.
for it.
The creative, I think it's hard because Wizard of Oz, everybody's dead.
Yes.
But like, if a creative person wants to do that and they have the ability to do it their own way, I'm for it.
Yes.
Like imagine you're like watching the scene where they're slicing the garlic and you're smelling that garlic.
Yes.
And it's so big on the screen.
It's so big. The
and
razor is so small, but then it's so big.
Yeah. And you're just smelling the cooking garlic.
Yeah.
Right. Because I did see The Dead and Co. And it was an amazing experience. And like, if you can adapt movies into that experience, that would be amazing. But yeah, they need to be there needs to be an artist behind it,
Yeah.
and not James Dolan and Zaslav.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that's the big issue.
Yes. And I think that there's, you know, if the people behind the movie are fine with it, it's any other adaptation, you know, where you're transforming the original work. And yeah, maybe there is a 40-minute version of Goodfellas made for the Sphere that's just the last act, and you get to be in the Sphere as Henry Hill looking up at the helicopters.
Yeah.
And you're paying $300 for that. And I think that's totally fine, but business-wise, will the money it takes to make that be worth what the audience ends up
And
coming in for? But
is there enough of an audience?
Right.
Is this now cool because they've seen this done once?
Right.
Will they go back to see successive movies?
Right.
That's the question. But IMAX is huge. Like,
Yep.
IMAX isn't going anywhere. And like we said, build more IMAXs.
And build more Spheres then.
And that I say build more Spheres.
Yeah.
If they're theaters.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
There's not enough good bands to make the Sphere in every city viable.
Right.
Right?
Right. Though they've got to get Weezer at the Sphere. We both agree on that. They could play the Sphere.
I think they could play with other bands. I don't think they could play by themselves.
You don't think they could just headline at the Sphere for a month?
No, they can't even headline all these festivals they're headlining this year. They all canceled.
So it's got to be this Weezer and the Offspring together.
Yeah, well,
in
yeah.
the Sphere.
Pretty Fly for a White Guy would be a mind-blowing experience. I would love to see Drew Carey's tweets about seeing Offspring play Pretty Fly for a White Guy at the Sphere.
Yeah. No, so okay.
About it's like having a vagina and like it melted his anus or whatever he said.
and
The host of course, one of the most long-running game shows.
Price is Right.
Price is Right. Talking about his anus melting.
So that would be a great triple header at the Sphere. Is you've got the Weezer Offspring double bill show, and then you're watching the third act of Goodfellas for $400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would revive Vegas.
Yeah. I think in the idea of the Sphere being another way to show movies, on its face, yeah, that's fine. I hope they figure that out where they don't also have to just use AI, or they don't have to butcher these. And again, butchering the movie
I mean, we'll watch Jurassic Park on television.
Right.
Right. When the broadcast television premiere of Jurassic Park happened, we weren't like, they butchered a masterpiece. We're like, oh, cool, we get to see it at home.
Right. And now we're watching it in a square format. But yeah, it all depends how it is they're adapting these movies and what they're using to do it.
Yes.
But the principle of getting people to want to see old movies and spend a lot of money to do so because they want to see this, I think that makes total sense.
Yes.
So yeah, we will see. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if a year from now Wizard of Oz is still going to be a big money maker.
Yes.
In Vegas, or maybe it is. I mean, Carrot Top's been there for 30 years straight.
That's the thing.
That's the whole thing with Vegas is it's just new people going to the same place.
Exactly.
So email us, theboboyspodcast@gmail.com. Of course, follow us on social media at theboboyspod on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are YouTubers. Hey guys. Subscribe to the Substack. New article up there. More to come.
More perversions being revealed?
Perversions being revealed to not be perversions. That is what this article is. And so in the future, there will be more articles that prove that these are not perversions.
Okay, I guess
other
that's part
perversions and other denials of perversions. That's what's coming on the Substack.
Okay.
And 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And that is all I got. I got nothing else.
I finished.
Wow, finally.
And you've said it all.
Yeah?
Maybe too much.
No, I think about the right amount.
But there's nothing left to be said.
Great. I can leave now.
Except for Until next time, we'll smell you at the box office. Nailed it. Hey guys.